Hey, it's E with the reality, and welcome back to my channel. We're going to get into these messy Love Island streets. Ooh, the way Love Island has been kicking around here the last few days, it has been a lot. And if you, of course, are watching this video, you know all the chitter chatter online and on social media sites about what has been going on. So we are going to get into episode 21. So we pick back up after the recoupling and everything that was happening. All the girls seemed to be there because I know that it was a lot of chatter about possibly Melanie being removed and Kenzie being removed. But once it picked back up, everybody was there. Of course, Aniya starts to cry. Melanie tells her not right here, not right here. So the girls get up, they go across the villa, they sit down. It's just all too much for Aniya. So she gets up, Melanie follows her, and she is just losing it, poor thing. Um, I really felt bad for her in that moment because I couldn't imagine, even though she she went with her her gut, her mind, you know, she didn't make the best decision for herself, but hindsight is 2020. So, of course, had she known he was coming back with someone, she would have chosen a different way. Um, but unfortunately, that was not the case. And then the way she felt in that moment, and then as she got up, now again, I don't necessarily think they were actually laughing at her, but I can see how in that moment it feels like they are because you've just had this humiliating thing done to you that you feel is so humiliating in front of everyone there. You know this is going to be on TV. You know millions of people watch this. So everybody's going to see this moment. And as you get up to walk away, you hear giggling across, the villa. Um, and I feel like that even triggers her even more, is the reason that she really started to cry and break down. And um, I really have to give Mel her kudos for doing everything she could in that moment to lift her spirits and speak so much into her because she needed it. She was losing it, poor thing. And I couldn't imagine going through something like that. And all you have to rely on is these people that you met 3, 4 weeks ago. Typically, of course, when you're at home and something traumatic happens like that to you, you're able to go to your family, talk to your family, your friends. You have people who really care about your feelings around you to help you get through that moment. So to be in a place where you have no familiar faces around you except for these people that you just met a few weeks ago. So I just felt so bad for her. My heart just went out for her so much on so many different levels because nobody wants to be embarrassed like that. Nobody. And if you sat there and didn't feel something for her in that moment, I don't even know what type of person you are, because it was just really sad to see, because I think she was doubting everything about herself in that moment. And like I said, just her being able to have Melanie there, I think, because Melanie was, I just give her tens all around. Now, the only thing is that Melanie was pouring so much into her. I wish Melanie took her own advice, because she's such a pretty girl. And I just don't, in the beginning, I liked her and Sincere together. I just don't understand Sincere's, like, I don't understand the way some of these men are moving, because it's like, are you forgetting you were on a TV show? This is a TV show that's filmed real time. Not where, okay, you didn't got out and you didn't fix some of your wrongs. And this is real time. People are seeing this in real time. And you're just lying left and right. Sincere literally just telling people things that they want to hear is insane. So, sorry, I just went off on a rant. I'm not even supposed to be there, but it just made me think about Melanie because poor thing. Of course, we'll get to her a little later in the episode. But yeah, so I really felt bad for Anaya. So, but then you have some of the other islanders on the other side of the villa, the Casa girls. I'm like, the fact that you guys can be like, "Ugh, they act like they're married." We got one girl who flipped out basically after meeting Casey for probably not even 24 hours about him wanting to share a bed with someone else that he was trying to get to know. You and Corbin, y'all have one brain cell together. Like, so I don't know. I thought that comment was just really stupid. And then calling them like, because you guys are so much older. I mean, again, honey, Parmita, you were 27 and you were dating a 22-year-old, and you just got in the middle with a 22-year-old. I just really wonder how this is going to translate in the outside world. I don't know. We'll see. Um, so night goes up. After the night, you do see some of the ladies kind of have a conversation, and you see Melanie talking to TT, and she was like, asking about Sincere, and then she was like, I think TT didn't like, she really didn't want to say whatever, but they looked like they probably they were having a conversation. They didn't show the whole thing, but they were clearly having a conversation. And she mentions to her that, you should talk to Trinity. Um, so eventually, when Trinity comes in, everybody apologizes to each other. Well, you also have the ladies downstairs when they're talking to Parmita that, like they said from the beginning, even when the ladies walked in, it was never about you guys. They complimented her, told her she was pretty, she was, da da da. So again, um, they just let them know, like, it was never about y'all. It was about them. Um, so same thing with TT and Trinity. It was like, you know, it wasn't about you. It was about how he moved, things he said, so on and so forth. So they seem to have squashed their beef, whatever. So of course everybody gets ready for bed. Everybody's in their couple. Anaya does sleep outside in soul ties. Um, she is. I think she goes to bed a little early, actually. And some of the girls, I think it was Melanie, Trinity, and Kata, were kind of sitting over on the side, and she was under the covers in soul ties crying. So Mel went to go check on her. Melanie, excuse me, went to go check on her. And so she gave her, a little bit more comfort, and she just, she probably just needed a little time to herself to process everything. And yeah, so we go to, again, everyone's sleeping, da da da. And the next day, um, we have, of course, we have Melanie and Sincere talking. And here comes Sincere. They sit down and have a conversation. And I just feel so bad. Let me take this back. I get it. I don't necessarily feel so bad. I really like Melanie. She is one of my faves. But I do, like I said, she spoke so much life into Anaya, and I just want her to take her own advice. I mean, as much as her and Sincere look so cute together, and as much as you can tell that she likes him, the way that Sincere moves with these women is insane. Because there is a way to explore people, because it's like, how are you exploring, but you don't have Melanie anywhere in your brain? You don't have to say these things. You can be upfront and be like, hey, I want to make sure I'm open on every level to allow people. So have conversations, see if you guys are compatible, things like that. Why do you have to be telling people you like them? You just met her. So how in the hell do you already think you like her after 2 days when you know you ain't finna bring her back? So when they sit down and have this conversation, I mean, if he really thinks that because he didn't bring someone back, that he deserves all these kudos, which I'm not even going to get started on him and Zach's conversation because that annoyed me so bad. I'm like, I wish these guys would stop talking to Zach. Zach is not a good person to get. He doesn't give you guys good advice, period. He strokes your ego. So he just feels like that, I was honest with you and I came back to you. You act like I came back in here with someone. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So Melanie's just like over the conversation. So she's like, you know what? I just need a break. I just need a break. So she gets up and leaves. She goes upstairs to the makeup room and she's kind of there by herself, kind of crying a little bit. And then Trinity comes in and was just like, what's going on? What's wrong? And she's like, Sincere's down there. He's just sitting there with his hands in his head. And Melanie's just like, I just feel so stupid. Like, he keeps saying, like, he wants to be different. He wants to do different, but he keeps doing the same things. And yeah. So, I mean, it's just all the things that Sincere, because it's like, you got to kiss, you got to cuddle, you got to do some extra stuff. And it's just like, for what? So, we moved to, so I mean, I am glad that because coming off of that recoupling, tensions were high that night. Going into the next day, of course, everything was still at a heightened level. Um, so we have Meg the Stallion come in. So of course, this is her second year because I believe she came in last year. So I was like, that was kind of like a good shakeup because they needed that. They needed something fun, something they could be super excited about, and who wouldn't be excited about Meg the Stallion coming in? So they're going to do a cake challenge. So they have to answer questions. So the way it's like set up is like the guy, like they're in this little box thing, and all they're poking out of their heads, and the guys get to throw cakes at the girls that they ask a question to. I mean, that they have a statement to, like whoever they want to, throw cake at. So they say, I want to throw this cake at, and then whatever it is that the issue may be. So then when it was the girls' turn, the girls got to do like I don't know what them things are called where you can push the icing out, whatever. So they got to do those instead of throwing. I said, I know that's right. Make it easy for the girls. They don't got to be throwing throwing cakes. So the first part of the challenge was almost like a musical chairs type of thing. I didn't really understand it, but they had They had to do a little twerk, 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 and then pop their butt on the cake after she um popped the pans together. So they started out with everybody. Then I think one person got out, which it was Parmita for the girls first. It was for the boys. It was Corbin. I'm like, that's crazy. Then the next round, I think it was 3, 4 girls got out. Then it just left Trinity, Anaya, TT, and McKinsey and Kinsey. And one thing Kinsey gonna do, baby. Um, One thing she gonna do, baby, she gonna do them splits, baby. She gonna split everywhere. She gonna split all the way back home. I mean, she just split, split. She love to split. That's her favorite thing to do. I said, "Ooh, honey, this child here." So you got her splitting all over the place, and Anaya and Trinity and TT, they shaking it, shaking it, shaking it, and so TT ends up winning, and so the guys go, and then like I said, Corbin's first one out. I think the last 3 guys were, or last 4 guys were Bryce. Excuse me. And it was Bryce. Dang, who was out there? Casey. I don't even remember who else was out there for the boys. But they was out there shaking it, shaking it, shaking it. And then Casey ended up winning. So I didn't really, the only thing was I didn't really understand like who would, I didn't know who won, because you had, it was TT and KC that both won. And then, yeah, I didn't know. I was confused. But then you had when they were throwing the cakes. So everybody was picking somebody to throw their cake at. So of course, um, Corbin gonna throw his cake at Mackenzie. I mean Kenzie. I keep want to call her Mackenzie. Throw her cake at Kenzie. I was like, again, I don't really care for Kenzie, but you did like throw the girl like to the side like she was absolutely nothing within 2 seconds of being in casa. So I thought that was very, very rude for him to throw the cake at her. Um, and then when Casey got up, I'm like, you done did this whole spiel. I got mine is for the person that's always in people's business, blah, 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 blah. He done said all that to throw this cake in Miss Trinity, and she was right in the front. I said, please tell me that was an accident. That had to be an accident. He got fleeked it and he just threw it. Cause I'm like, damn, Casey, you can't even throw. You can't do nothing. You can't communicate. You don't know your feelings. You don't know what type of girls you like. You just don't know nothing. You don't even know how to throw a cake. Like you don't know how to do nothing. Damn, Casey, I had so much hope for you. You just done. Dang, your stock plummeted so fast. I mean, so fast. The people was riding with you, and that switch up, they just, as fast as you switched up, they switched up. But anyways, so Melanie tried to get Corbin and Casey for hers, for the girls. And then Kinsey, of course, did um what's his name bag? Corbin bag. I was like, Shay, you tried to apologize, but are you gonna try to apologize and throw a cake in my face? Like, that's true. Like, how does that work? Um, then you had, what else was interesting? Oh, Sincere's. I was like, what did he say? She was like a Do people have to do some instance here? I think so. Is he just trying to be? He didn't want to do the other girls, so he just picked Jen. And then, because what did he say? Dang, I forget what he said word for word, basically, about Jen. But Jen was so confused. I think we're all confused. Like, sister, what are you talking about? You just made up something. Instead of just saying, I really don't have anything to say about any of the girls, so I'm just gonna throw this at such and such face. Like, you just made up something. Because it didn't even make sense. But whatever, that's sincere for you. So, you have, and I think that was, I mean, Trinity, it was funny that Trinity did Bryce herself. Um, I don't know. Bryce and Zach. Bryce and Zach. It's just so weird. I mean, I just don't. I feel like I see them hugged up more than I see Bryce and Trinity hugged up. Like, I don't. Every time they are hugged up, I'll be like, where your girl at? Where your girl? She over there and you over there. Y'all got y'all's arms wrapped around each other. It's a lot. So, Trinity, so that was pretty much it for that. And then Meg had to pick two people um, to do the last part of the challenge, which was to eat a cake, but you had to basically dig down in it with no hands and stuff to find some type of something in there. It was a heart or something. So she picked Kenzie and she picked Zach. So the girls got a head start. Kenzie was going, and then she found something. I don't know what it was, but she found something. It wasn't the right thing because Zach started going. He found a heart that said um something. And so all of a sudden we have, which pretty much everybody already, if you didn't think it was gonna be Carl coming back in, I don't know what rock you were under, because it it had to be at least 95% people voted Carl. And then Amora. Um, I feel like people voted Amora just again for the whole Casey and Melanie situation. But it really, to me, it was really kind of like a toss up for the girls because, I mean, Sydney, like, she already really didn't have a connection in the first place. And then again, Sincere is going to pick Melody. So I feel like, they just had to throw the girls in there. Um, Everyone seems to be really happy that Carl is back because, even some of the Casa guys really appreciated Carl, had great things to say about him. Um, Obviously, Aniya's excited. It'll be interesting to see how they maneuver that situation. From what Carl showed, he seems to be very emotionally intelligent. So hopefully he doesn't completely hold it against her and is really open to exploring, because now she can completely be open to exploring. Because I feel like you can't sit and say, like, I do understand that it was only 2 or 3 days and you had been building a connection with someone for 3 weeks already. That's a big step. Like I said, that's a big step to step out and be like, hey, I don't want to be with this connection anymore, especially when you've been with them from the beginning. Unlike Kenzie, who has been with everybody. But so for someone like her, it wouldn't be difficult. So I do hope that he really does, you know, give Aniya a chance, because now she doesn't have to hold back, period. She doesn't have to have Casey in the back of her mind of thinking about how she needs to move. Um, because she knows that that man don't care about her. He don't care about her one bit. So move how you want to move. She can finally be free to move how she wants to move. And I mean, I will say Carl is a nice looking man. He got a nice body, and he definitely gives grown man energy. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think that's about it. So please make sure you are subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and please get down in the comments so we can have a little chit chat about this love out of mess. But thank you for listening. Have a great night.